Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about the Lotus by Tactical Workz, okay? I know I'm very behind on this video and there's already a lot of videos out there about it, but I guarantee you that this video is going to be different. Now, what I need to put out there is that in my troubles of, working on the Shopping with Peg series and things like that, we spend so much time like making deals with larger vendors and try to get those discount coupons. I've lost a little bit sight of where this channel is headed, because part of the whole mission statement and of what this channel is to bring the truth to people, okay? And there's been so many videos out there that it's just sugarcoat on top of sugarcoat. That's the best way that I could put it, right? And I have no choice but to now. Basically, I'm going to be putting out a series of videos where it's going to be like a whole bunch of peg not approved things. And why? Okay, because I feel as if the public really needs to know this. Vaping in itself has been going in like very strange directions. Sure, I understand that like you got to try different things. You got to try new things in order to to one up stuff, to push the envelope, to raise the bar, right? Kind of like in comedy, people try stuff. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it comes out a little bit too offensive. But the point was that like they're trying different things, and it works. It works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The problem is that a lot of things that clearly shouldn't work are getting sugar coated on top of sugar coated, and then other people egging it on, and like they're saying things are good when clearly it's not, right? So let's dive down real quick and let me talk about this item real quick and show you things from my perspective, and if I step on some toes, then so be it. Okay, so as always, we try to do a little bit of homework before we go ahead and do different kind of reviews on stuff. But as always, this thing is not an item review because I'm not going to be doing any unboxings or narrating of the instruction manuals or anything like that. Instead, we're just going to go directly into the professional insight of this, okay? So basically, what do I think of this thing? Well, this thing is a piece of junk, all right? It's not what anybody says that it is. Every single review has been talking about like how this thing, it's a tri-post and therefore there's going to be like tri-coils and yada 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 yada. The one thing, which is the one thing that they all have in common, and the one thing that I believe is false on it, okay? And let me show you guys why. When we go ahead and then have a closer look at this thing, all right, if we go ahead and take a look at the different holes on this thing, right, let me focus this camera better for you guys, all right? See how the holes are aimed? Basically, the furthest post in the back, this guy, he's pointless. He's just here, okay? And basically what you could do is that you could build a single coil over here, or you could build a dual coil, and then on the middle post over here there's only 2 holes on it, okay? If this thing was originally meant for tri-coils, then there would have been 3 holes into this post instead of like making you try and share. Now, can we go ahead and build tri-coils in this thing anyways? Absolutely. However, the tri-coils will be imbalanced. And to me, that just calls for like a really stupid vape, okay? Maybe it won't really affect things that much, especially when we build it down to low ohms and things are very hot, where you are no longer able to taste things with your tongue. However, it is just bad practice to intentionally go out of your way to build coils that are of all different sizes, even if it's like because when we build coils, we try to get them as similar as possible, whether it's a dual coil or it's a quad coil. All 4 coils or both coils is going to be as similar as possible. This is for the sake of like calculating the ohms and how things are going to be, and having all of your coils light up at the same time, equal performance, a balance of all the wicking that's going on with the juice. There's so many reasons why we intentionally do that, like, if you went ahead and intentionally put tri-coils on this thing, your tri-coils are not going to be balanced, okay? So why do I call such BS on this item? Well, all right, I'm going to go ahead and then remove this atomizer and then show you another one over here, okay? IGO W2. IGO W2 is, you know, natively quad coil over here, right? And when we open this up, right, the post in the middle, that has 4 holes drilled into every single direction. Okay, basically this thing is just a hollow tube, and then, you know, we pop holes in it. I fail to see why, like, this thing couldn't have been drilled 3 holes instead of just 2. Okay, and confusing everybody. You know, that this thing is going to be tri-coiled. All right. There's more to it. So this thing is abnormally large, right? The top cap and everything. So basically the only argument that you have for this thing, like right now I have it sitting on an M16. Does it look correct to you? It's meh at best, right? Everybody's going to be telling you that, like, well, this thing needs to be sitting on a Meraxis. However, how good is a Meraxis mod other than the fact that you love the design of this thing? Other than that, there really is no pro to getting a Meraxis mod compared to any other mod. Is it the hardest hitting? No. Is it the you know, better functions? Does it have a better throw? Does it have a better button? Is it magnetic? Is it? And the answer is no, 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 and no. Okay. The only thing is, do you like the styling of Meraxis? If you love it and you have to get it, then absolutely, you know, I'm not going to stand in your way. Definitely go ahead and get it. So you get that thing, and then you get this thing, and then, you know, it's like, oh, they kind of go together. But then again, you know, I'm not going to go too far as you know, do a whole like fashion police styling thing, because, you know, that's your own opinion. Okay, so there's another thing over here, right? There's a hole over here, and then, you know, the cap, and then over here it says FC, which is the flavor control, right? So how does this flavor control work? Well, reading up on it, okay, people are going to say like all sorts of strange things about it. Well, one is the airflow control, the main airflow controls over here that looks like a play button, right? That kind of makes no sense of how to adjust it. Like, you don't need both of them to be play buttons. It's kind of like the Kraken, you know what I mean? All you really needed was like a full slit, and then, like, you know, on the inside, and then to make it larger and smaller. You really don't need to, you know, it's going to, my airflow is going to be like this, or my airflow is going to be like this. This is just stupid. All right. Okay. As far as the airflow, the flavor control at the bottom, right? What is said on the websites, and well, they don't really have a website. All they really have is Facebook. Okay, which brings me to another point of why I'm not crazy about this company, because we'll get into that in a second. The flavor control works like this. Okay, you vape this thing, all right, and then once this thing starts to get dry, you go ahead and then you turn on the flavor control, and then, you know, hit it against, and then you'll get like a burst of flavor. This makes little to no sense to me, because this is a dripper. And how do we use drippers? Every time we're, like, you know, getting a little low, we just prime the wicks again, and then we prime the wicks again, and then we prime the wicks again. Why would you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is that, like, that's not the way we normally use these drippers. Why would I go out of my way to, like, oh, when it's a little bit dry, let me turn on the, you know, and then risk another dry hit? There is nothing worse than a dry hit, and you are totally, you know, pushing the envelope towards a dry hit, and that makes zero sense to me. Okay, so basically the back area over here, right, you're probably never going to get to use it, and then you're just going to build like a single coil here like I did, or a dual coil. I didn't bother building a dual coil because this thing is just such a piece of junk that it's a waste of my time to do that, so I'm not going to bother with it. All right, as far as the website is concerned, I'm not crazy about companies that hide behind Facebook, okay, because that's all they have. To me, it screams that, like, you know, this person is a modder, they're probably kids or something like that, and then they can't be bothered, like, trying to run an actual real business, all right? Because these days with, like, you know, Squarespace, Shopify, you know, WordPress, and being able to, you know, hire freelancers, you know, you could hire people from across you know, across the world, people from Pakistan, people from the Philippines, and, you know, they'll do stuff for, like, you know, anywhere between $2 to $6 an hour. There's really no reason why you don't have your own website, you know, to explain your items, to introduce your items, to, you know, even if you're not selling things directly to the public, but for the sake of, like, you know, wholesale introductions and just putting your company out there, there's no reason for you to just be hiding behind social media and that's it. If anything, Facebook, Twitter, social media, things like this should be links on top of an actual website, as opposed to working it the other way around. Okay, so yeah, people, this thing, okay, makes zero sense, right? Except for the fact that, like, you know, what do I think about tri-coils in general? I think that the world absolutely needs tri-coils, okay? They absolutely needs it. Why? Because there's going to be many times where, like, you know, quad coils is just way too hot. And then dual coils is like, okay, maybe I would like a little bit more performance, right? Especially if I want to play with, you know, the idea of tri-coiling with 30 gauge cathode, tri-coiling with 29 or 28 or something like that. Then, you know, things become more interesting. And plus, on different ways that we could build stuff, right? Tri-coil setups, this should have been, you know, a little more thought into it, as opposed to you know, the posts being like this. Hopefully, we could get like some clones or something with the manufacturer smart enough to just pop another hole in this thing and then align all the holes correctly so that this thing could actually become a tri-coil system. However, at the same time, even if it was, right, there's only one airflow hole over here. So why are we building coils over here, here, and here when there's only going to be airflow coming in one direction? So every single review that you've seen of people saying that, like, yeah, you know, this thing was a tri-coil, blah, 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 they're all wrong. This thing was never meant for a tri-coil setup, okay? It's just meant to be an open deck where you could try different kinds of setups with this airflow plus the flavor control, and that's all there really is to it.